Minnesota seeing a spike in trans people moving here after other states, including Iowa and South Dakota, have banned or restricted gender-affirming care.
Some of them are young people moving here even without a safe place to stay. Ryan Berg with Avenues for Youth's ConneQT program joins us to talk about how we can help meet a growing need. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, yes, absolutely. Well, for starters, what are you seeing as far as the need and how it's changing and evolving?
Right. So we work with young people ages 16 to 24 who are LGBTQ identified and match them with folks in the community who open their homes to provide food and shelter. We provide wraparound services and support. Since last year, with all the anti-trans bills being passed nationally and Minnesota becoming a trans refuge state, we're seeing an influx and an uptick of young people coming, looking for resources, looking for gender-affirming care, and looking for a safe place to stay. I would say our numbers from out of state have probably tripled for requests of finding a host home and a safe place that's affirming of their identity.
Talk to us about that. What does it mean to have a host home? What kind of resources do you provide? What kind of support do you offer?
Right. So the idea really is one of mutual aid. So we know there are some folks who have resources and some folks who are in need of resources. Our work is really to align those folks. We know that healing happens in relationships. So allowing youth an opportunity to build trust and community can be transformational. The idea of the program is really youth can bring their full selves without having to censor aspects of who they are in order to get their needs met. And that can be really transformational for young folks. So the services we provide are helping young people define their own goals for themselves. That's typically education, employment, housing, mental health. And then we help them figure out, well, okay, so this is your goal. What are the steps we need to take in order to get there?
As with the increase in the number of young people that have needed your services, how has it been on the other end as far as people saying, hey, we're opening our homes and we're going to make ourselves available to help you meet that need?
We live in a fantastic state when it comes to folks recognizing the disparities that are out there and what we can do to show up. So we do have a great pool of folks that are willing to do so. But with this influx of young people, there are always more youth in need than there are hosts available.
How can people reach you if they are seeing this and say, hey, we want to reach out and see if we could help?
For sure. They can go to avenuesforyouth.org. The Connect tab is there. My contact information is included there. If they're interested in learning more about the program, how it functions, and how they could show up in this way, reach out to me and I'd be happy to grab coffee with them.
You're talking about this uptick. I'm wondering, and you say, you've tripled the numbers, but I'm wondering what kind of numbers you're seeing now. I mean, is a lot of people moving, and do you expect that to increase in the future? Because it's hard to pick up your family and move. It can take time. I'm wondering if you just expect this demand to rise.
Yeah, so many folks, there are beautiful stories out there of families wanting to support and affirm their child and moving out of state. A lot of youth don't have the luxury of that family support and are showing up here on their own. So they are recognizing that Minnesota is a state that can provide that support around gender-affirming care. Once they get here, though, they may be dealing with housing instability and may find themselves homeless.
What ages are you talking about?
16 to 24 is the age range that we work with. Yeah, so we're seeing probably the majority of these young folks being about 19, 20 years old that we're seeing. We are a small program by design. We work with 10 young people at a time, and we have seen this number just rise over the course of the past year.
Have you had to turn anyone away because the need is so great, or do you have programs that you work with when you're not able to help kids directly with your
Exactly.
services?
So we do that. We never will say we don't have opportunity to work with you. As our case manager does a lot of intensive outreach work with youth. So if we don't have a host home or a host home isn't a good fit, Ezra does a lot of work on finding the right connections and collaborating with other agencies to ensure that youth needs are being met.
So it's a lot about, it's not just putting you anywhere, it's making sure that we're putting you somewhere where you're going to be successful.
Right, exactly. So being LGBTQI culturally responsive as a program is super important. Many youth have reported not wanting to stay in shelter because of discrimination against their sexual orientation or gender identity, facing harassment, violence. and discrimination. So our job is really to help them find that affirming space so they can bring their full selves to that experience.
Someone's watching. What's the best way that they can help?
Yeah, so I know hosting is a huge ask,
Yeah.
and it's not for everyone. But if you believe in the mission of the program and the values of the program, share with your community. There may be someone out there who would be wanting to open their home and provide this level of support. And there are many different ways to get involved with Avenues as an organization as well. So you can go to our website, avenuesforyouth.org, and find resources and information there.
And quickly before we let you go, how have you seen the participants in the program evolve through this approach? Just how have you seen them change because of the care and the approach that you've taken here?
Yeah, it bears out in our numbers. 100% of youth exiting Connect in the past 3 years have moved into stable housing.
Oh, wow.
And have built connection and community and reported greater well-being in their lives, just knowing that they're affirmed. Affirming a young person's identity is a form of suicide prevention, and we need to really lead with that.
Okay. All right. Well, Ryan, thank you. Avenues for Youth. It's called the Connect program if you're looking for more information. Thanks so much for sharing with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here.